Hello, everyone. Today's topic is use of manual switch block in Simulink. So let's open MATLAB. I'll open Simulink. I'll create a blank model. And in this untitled model, I'll add a manual switch. This manual switch is present in signal routing. As you can see here, I can drag and drop this block here. So this is double pole, single throw switch. That means it has two inputs. Depending on the connection, the input will be passed to the output. So it is quite straightforward. But let us check the working of the block using constant and verify the working of the block. So I'll create a constant block with the value 1. And again, I will create a copy of a constant block. And when the block is created, I'll change the value for verifying outputs. Now we have two different inputs. To check the output, we will need a display block. So the display block is inserted. And I will connect it to the output. So this is how the manual switch will be used. The manual switch have two inputs. Now currently it is connected to 1. So if I double click it, it will connect it to 10. Let's run and check whether the output is coming as 10. Yes, as you can see, the output has updated to 10. If I again double click it, then it is connecting to 1. So once I go here and change manually, then the output is getting changed. So the name is manual switch. Other switches, they are conditional based. There will be a condition which will be checked, and depending on the condition, inputs will be selected. Here you have to manually change. So that's the huge difference. So here this is 1. So as you can see, these are my two inputs which are getting selected depending on the position of manual switch. Now, let's discuss the concepts of ground and Terminator. What if this input was floating? Means, there is nothing connected as input to this manual switch, and then I try to run it. Will it run? Yes. It is running, as it is connected to 1, and I am getting output 1. But here you can see, I am getting a warning. It states that, the input port of an untitled model, which is not connected. So we cannot leave a port open or floating. I need to connect something at the input. What if I don't want to use a constant block? There is one more option of using ground. Now here if I go to library browser and click on sources, I see a ground. I will drag and drop the ground block. And I will connect it to this. Now this ground signifies 0. Here you can see, previously we got one warning, so to prevent the warning, we have connected the input to ground. We don't want any constant. So I'm connecting it to ground, and I'm running it, so you can see the warning is eliminated. So basically this is the use of ground block. It prevents the unconnected block warning and it will allow a steady input. Now if I connect the switch here, the ground here signifies 0, so my output should be 0. I am getting a 0 output. So we learnt manual switch, as well as the use of ground. So ground is used whenever input is floating, unconnected. Or, if we are getting an error for that input. What if my output is floating? Or unconnected? Now I will create one more constant block. This is my another constant block. Let's make its value as 5. Click apply and OK. Now I have created this block, but I don't want to connect it to any block. Will Simulink allow us to do so? Yes, it will allow us to execute, but it will throw a warning saying that this output port is not connected anywhere. So in that case, what I can do, I can insert a Terminator block so that it is properly terminated. So let's find Terminator. I'll drag and drop it here. I will connect constant block to Terminator and click on Run. You can see I am getting no warning now. So this is the use of Terminator. So it does not allow any floating or unconnected outputs. Why should we use this? Consider a very basic example. When we go into model, and we are simulating the model and we are checking for input and output. At times it can happen that you are disconnecting one input and connecting another input. So at that time, you can use this Terminator block for the input, which you are not using currently, but you may use in next simulation. Similarly, if there are multiple inputs present, and you don't want the input to be used now, you can simply ground the input. So this was the use of ground block, Terminator block and manual switch block. Thank you for watching.